Thanks once again, Mr. Owens, and what an honor it is to be here with my friends, people that I have tremendous respect for, colleagues, people who love their country and want to serve their country. Several of them have said something that I think is worth emphasizing, and that is when, for example, when Mr. Curtis talks about 40% of the money that was created, having been created in the last several months. I'm not sure that that's easy to convey to people how important that is. We talk about $1 million or $1 billion or now $1 trillion. And I'm not sure we have an understanding, again, what those numbers even mean. I think a lot of times people think of $1 trillion. They said, well, it sounds like a lot of money. I mean, is that like double a billion, or what is a trillion? And I think I found a really good way to illustrate it and for us to visualize what it means when we're creating this kind of money. Imagine, well, let me back up. Let me start with this. 1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. So think about that, 11 days to 31 years to 31,000 years. And for people watching at home, you can't see this enormous chamber we're in, but imagine that I stretched a string from this wall to this wall. And let's say that over here is 0. And then I ask you, go touch 11 days. You'd go touch and you'd be nearly touching the wall. But then if I said touch 31, if this one over here is 31,000, and you'd still nearly be touching the wall. And all the rest of that distance is 1 trillion. I think that gives us a sense and gives us a way to visualize when we talk about spending trillions of dollars. It's magnitudes more than billions. It's an unimaginable number. And like Mr. Curtis said, the percentage of that has been created in the last few months. Since COVID hit, we spent about $2 trillion on COVID-1 relief package. We spent about the same, 1.9 on the second COVID relief package. This president suggested a budget that takes us from about 4.8 trillion a year to 6.3 trillion. We just spent 1.2 trillion on infrastructure. This government has taken together more than $11 trillion in a matter of months. That should scare the life out of every American. And people say, well, you're kicking the can of debt down the road to our kids or our grandkids. That's nonsense. We will never get to our grandkids if we spend trillions of dollars in a matter of months. We'll never get to our kids if we spend $11 trillion in 18 months. This problem will correct itself. It will correct itself in a painful way and in not a matter of generations, a matter of years, if we don't try to fix it now. And if you think inflation is because of bottlenecks in supply chains, that was part of it. But the vast majority of this is explained by one thing: federal government spending trillions of dollars. And the American people pay the very unfortunate, the very painful price. Once again, Mr. Owens, thank you. It's an honor to be with you tonight, and I yield back the time.
Have you noticed that as everything around you seems to decline, one thing still grows? It is the power of your rulers. None of their plans and directives have solved your problems or made your life better. The only result has been their increased control over you at the cost of your freedom. Do you know why? You gave them the power.